Every morning, before the world gets loud and distractions take over, you must take a moment to speak life into your own soul. Your first words should not be to the world. They should be to yourself. Because the words you repeat to yourself become the beliefs that shape your identity. And your identity is the compass that directs your destiny. The most powerful force in human behavior is the desire to stay consistent with who you believe you are. So when you wake up, speak 5 lines to yourself, 5 truths that will anchor you, align you, and activate your power. Say to yourself, I am purpose-driven. This is not just a declaration, it's a decision. You're not wandering through life hoping to find direction. You are the direction. You were created for a purpose so big that fear has tried to distract you from it. But purpose speaks louder than fear when you give it a voice. I am disciplined. Success is not about doing what's easy. It's about doing what's right, especially when you don't feel like it. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. The moment you choose discipline over comfort, you separate yourself from the average and step into greatness. I am becoming stronger every day. Challenges don't break you. They build you. Every test is shaping a tougher, wiser, more resilient version of you. Strength is not born in ease. It is forged in adversity. And every day that you rise and face your life with courage, you grow, you elevate. You become more. I am attracting abundance. Scarcity is a mindset and abundance is a choice. When you believe there's more than enough, more opportunities, more connections, more wealth, more grace, you start to act like a magnet for success. Speak abundance, expect abundance, and watch how your world expands to match your words. I am not my past. I am my decision today. What's behind you does not define you unless you choose to carry it into your future. The most powerful freedom you have is the power to decide. Decide that today you become the person your past was preparing you to be. Speak to yourself like your future depends on it. Because it does. Your voice is a weapon. Your words are fuel. And your morning declarations are the programming language of your soul. Speak life and life will respond. Speak purpose and direction will find you. Speak strength and you'll endure. Speak abundance and lack will flee. Speak new decisions and anew you will rise. When you wake up in the morning, your mind is like soft soil. It's ready to receive whatever seed you decide to plant. In those first few moments of the day, your brain operates in theta waves, a state of heightened suggestibility. That means whatever you say to yourself in those precious minutes becomes the foundation for your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors throughout the day. If you don't speak to yourself with intention, the world will speak to you with confusion. That's why morning declarations are not just a feel-good habit. They are a strategic advantage for anyone who desires personal excellence. Every identity begins with a thought. That thought, when repeated enough, becomes a belief. And that belief, over time, becomes your reality. When you look at the people who consistently succeed in life, not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, and relationally, you'll discover a common trait: they speak to themselves with purpose. They understand that their internal dialogue either limits them or liberates them. By declaring empowering truths each morning, you train your subconscious mind to align with who you want to become. If you wake up and say, I'm overwhelmed, your brain will find proof to support that. If you say, I am built for this, your brain will search for evidence that you are resilient. It's called confirmation bias. Your brain filters information based on what you believe, and beliefs are born through repetition. Speaking 5 intentional lines to yourself each morning is like programming your internal GPS. It creates emotional momentum before your feet even hit the floor. It tells your fear who's in charge. It reminds your doubts that they are no longer welcome, and it gives your dreams a voice strong enough to silence distractions. Let's take one of those lines that I am purpose-driven. When you repeat that every day, something powerful happens. You start to feel like your actions must reflect that purpose. You don't scroll aimlessly. You don't procrastinate. You don't let circumstances dictate your attitude. Why? Because someone with purpose lives on assignment. And when you speak that line enough, you begin to embody it. That's the magic of declarations. They're not wishful thinking. They're identity building. Over time, these spoken truths shift your emotional state. They build confidence, resilience, and clarity. You walk into situations differently because you've already spoken who you are. Your energy changes. Your posture changes. Even the way others respond to you changes. Not because they changed, but because you did. And it all began with 5 lines in the morning. This is not about ego or hype. It's about intentional self-leadership. It's about refusing to let life happen to you and deciding to happen to life. You lead your day by leading your mind. And you lead your mind by leading your words. From the moment you open your eyes, the world begins to compete for your attention. Notifications, opinions, stress, and responsibilities start pulling at you from every direction. If you're not intentional, the noise of the world will speak louder than the voice within you. That's why speaking purpose into yourself before anything else becomes one of the most powerful practices you can develop. It's not about hype or fake positivity. It's about grounding yourself in something deeper than distraction. It's about choosing who you are before the world tries to tell you. Purpose is not something you find outside of yourself. It's something you align with inside. But alignment takes awareness. And awareness begins with silence, with stillness, with intention. In that quiet moment before the day begins, when your mind is still soft and unformed, you have the power to speak identity into yourself, to remind yourself why you're here, what you value, and what kind of impact you intend to make. That's the power of speaking purpose into yourself. It becomes a declaration that your life isn't random and your time isn't for sale. Without purpose, the day controls you. With purpose, you take control of the day. When you speak with purpose, you are not just saying words, you are activating vision. You're telling your mind to look for meaning in your work, in your interactions, in your obstacles. Purpose gives direction to energy. It turns ordinary actions into meaningful steps. When you know your why, your what becomes more powerful, and your how becomes clearer. Saying something as simple as, I am living on purpose today, can shift how you show up in every environment. You don't just go to work. You bring excellence. You don't just talk to people. You bring presence. You don't just face problems. You bring solutions. Purpose changes how you carry yourself. It lifts your emotional state, sharpens your focus, and deepens your resilience. Because when your heart is connected to what you do, quitting becomes harder and persistence becomes natural. It's easy to let other people define your purpose. Society has a script ready for you. Get a job, make money, stay in line. But that script doesn't feed your soul. True purpose is not just about survival or success. It's about significance. It's about impact. And it starts with the decision to own your voice before the world can drown it out. The truth is, life will always get noisy. There will always be demands, distractions, and drama. But when you start your day by speaking your purpose out loud, you create an internal clarity that no external chaos can shake. You begin to filter your decisions, your responses, and your commitments through the lens of who you are and what you're called to do. That's how you avoid being reactive, by becoming deeply rooted. This is why those first few minutes in the morning are sacred. If you roll out of bed and immediately open your phone, you're surrendering your mind to the priorities of others. But if you take 60 seconds to center yourself in purpose, you're reclaiming ownership of your direction. You're saying, I choose to live today, not just survive it. I choose to lead, not just follow. I choose impact, not just activity. And the more you do this, the stronger your inner voice becomes, Over time, purpose won't just be something you remind yourself of. It'll become part of your nature. It will live in your habits, your tone, your posture, your choices. It will guide your yes and protect your no. It will help you avoid burnout because you'll stop saying yes to things that don't align with your calling. Speaking purpose into yourself is not a one-time event. It's a daily discipline, a mental and emotional anchor that keeps you aligned in a world that tries to pull you in every direction. You don't need more motivation, you need more intention. And nothing is more intentional than starting the day by reminding yourself of who you are and what you're here to do. The world will speak noise, but you will speak purpose. Discipline is the invisible force that separates those who merely wish from those who truly achieve. It is not something you're born with, it's something you build. It's a choice, a habit, a muscle. And just like a muscle, it grows stronger the more you train it. Without discipline, dreams remain distant, goals remain untouched, and potential remains locked away. But with discipline, even the most intimidating vision becomes reachable, step by step, day by day. Success doesn't respond to excitement, it responds to consistency. Anyone can be motivated for a day. Anyone can feel inspired after watching a video or listening to a powerful message. But motivation is fleeting. Discipline is what keeps you moving when the motivation fades. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel, it asks what you've decided. And when your decisions are stronger than your emotions, you become unstoppable. Momentum is built in the small moments, the early mornings, the late nights, the uncomfortable choices, the repeated actions. Each time you do what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it, you're casting a vote for the future you want. One workout, one disciplined conversation, 1 hour of focused work might seem small, but repeated over time, it compounds into transformation. That's the magic of discipline. It turns ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes through the power of repetition. The reason so many people stay stuck is not because they lack talent or intelligence, it's because they're waiting to feel ready. But discipline doesn't wait for readiness, it acts. It shows up on days that feel heavy. It keeps promises when no one is watching. It builds trust within yourself. And when you trust yourself to follow through, confidence becomes natural. Discipline is also the greatest form of self-respect. It says, I value my time, my goals, my health, my future enough to protect them from distraction. It teaches you to say no to things that feel good temporarily, but rob you of what you truly desire long-term. It trains your mind to prioritize long-term gain over short-term gratification. But here's the truth, discipline isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it looks boring. It's waking up at the same time. It's saying no to junk food. It's putting in extra reps at the gym. It's writing the next paragraph, making the next call, showing up again and again and again. But that's the beauty of it. The boring work becomes the breeding ground for the extraordinary. While others chase excitement, you build systems. While others wait for the perfect moment, you move anyway. And when you start living with discipline, something shifts. You begin to feel momentum. You begin to feel proud, not just of what you're doing, but of who you're becoming. That momentum spills into every area of your life, your work, your health, your relationships, your mindset. You stop needing external validation because you're fueled by internal conviction. You stop fearing failure because you've trained yourself to get back up. Discipline is also contagious. The people around you notice it in how you carry yourself, in how you lead, in how you stay calm under pressure. It creates a ripple effect that inspires others to rise higher, not because you said anything, but because your example speaks louder than words ever could. But here's the most powerful part of all discipline: gives you freedom. The freedom to wake up without regret. The freedom to chase big goals without feeling overwhelmed. The freedom to design your life rather than be a victim of it. People often think discipline limits them, but the truth is, discipline liberates them from the chaos of impulse and the trap of procrastination. There will always be distractions. There will always be reasons to delay, but the disciplined person rises above the noise and takes the next step, not because it's easy, not because it's fun, but because the result is worth the sacrifice. The version of you that you dream about isn't built in comfort. It's forged in discipline. Success is not owned, it is rented, and rent is due every single day. Discipline is how you pay that rent. Your life will rise or fall to the level of your internal conversation. If you want different results, speak different words. Start your day with declarations that align with your vision, not your fears. Speak to your future, not your frustration, because the person who controls the first words of the day controls the direction of their destiny. The moment you open your eyes, speak life, because your future is listening.